Hello, Year 2. How are you? Thumbs up if you've had a super day. I can't wait to do this lesson with you. I really enjoyed our lesson last time, learning all about Bigu and sequencing the story. Let's find out what we're going to be doing today. So, our question we're going to be looking at is, how do brilliant readers use inference? We're going to start with a warm-up reading key words from the text. We're going to recap the story, answer some inference questions, and then look at some further reading possibilities. You're going to need a pencil, some paper, and obviously your brain. Are you ready, everybody? Let's go. So on the screen, you will see some key words from the book. These are all ones that we would have read on Wednesday. If you pop me on pause, just have a little read through them. If any are a bit tricky, ask an adult to help you. I've tried to put some pictures there for a little bit more support if you need it. Now you've read them all through, I would like you to use the words in a sentence. I'll do the first one. I'm going to choose the word mother. Can you see it? Yes, it's in the middle. My sentence is going to be, the mother is holding a baby. The mother is holding a baby. That makes sense. Can you think of another sentence using the word mother? I'm going to give you 5 seconds to think of it. Are you ready? Tell me now. Wow, what a great sentence. What I would like you to do next is pick some of the other words on the screen and tell me some other sentences. Put me on pause. Well done. Super sentences, everybody. What we're going to do now is we are going to have a recap of the story Bigu. We remember from last time that Bigu was a small alien who landed on Earth. And poor Bigu was trying to find some friends, but wasn't very successful. The large beings on Earth were all a bit mean to her, the adults. But luckily she found friends in the small things, like the children and the puppies. At the end of the story, she was becoming pretty desperate. She felt very alone. But we had a happy ending because her parents came back and they zapped her up back into space. If you would like to, you could rewatch Wednesday's lesson where we read the story, or you could put this slide here on pause. Then you could read it for yourself. Luckily, it's not a long story. I'll give you a chance to put it on pause just in case you want to. Well done, everyone. So we've reminded ourselves of what happened in Bigu. So it's time now to look at today's question. How do brilliant readers use inference? First of all, we need to remind ourselves what inference is. Now, I'm sure at school you remember getting out your reading detectives magnifying glass, because this skill of inference is where we turn into real detectives. We're going to be using all of the clues in the text and your own knowledge that's already inside your head to understand what is happening. We make our best guess using all of that information, and we do something called reading between the lines, and that's understanding what's happening in the story without actually being told. So as you can see from the pictures there, we use the clues in the text and our reader knowledge, and that means we can answer inference questions. So what clues are we going to be looking for? Now, we already know that you've got a super duper brain with lots of story knowledge in there, so you can definitely use that. You can also use what you've already read in the story to help you. You can use the information in the text on the page that you're reading. For example, what do characters say to each other and how do they say it? What do they do? All of these things give us clues about the plot and the character. You may notice different punctuation in the story. For example, if there are exclamation marks or questions, and that might give you some clues as to what's going on. You may also spot some bold, big fat print or italic print where it's slanted on one side, maybe a word written in capital letters. And this can all be clues to help you infer the meaning. We saw this a lot in the Day the Crayons Quit this week. So let's have a look at our first picture. Now we know so far that Bigu has landed on Earth and Bigu has tried to make some friends, but not been very successful. And we can see from this illustration that Bigu is feeling pretty down. Can you see how Bigu's eyes are all closed up? Her ears are floppy, and the way she's walking along looks very, very miserable. Sometimes illustrations also give us some clues. Now we can see Bigu is bright yellow and she's really standing out from the background where it's all grey and miserable. You can see that she must be in the city with all these people bustling by her and nobody giving her any attention. She is definitely feeling lonely. So we've had a look at this picture and used all our prior knowledge to gain an answer to what she might be thinking. So if I had to fill in that thought bubble coming out of her head there, I know I wouldn't put, I love it on Earth, because the information that we've read and our prior knowledge and even myself thinking about how I would feel in that situation definitely wouldn't give me that answer. Using all of my inference skills, I think Bigu would be thinking, I miss my mummy and daddy, or I wish I was back home. What do you think Bigu might be feeling? Can you use all your inference skills? Well done. Now it's really important that we can explain why we said that. Can you tell somebody at home why you chose to put that in the speech bubble? Well done. Now it's your turn on your own to look at the next one. You may want to pause the slide. Let me move myself up here. So here we go. We've got a picture of Bigu. Now this time it's a speech bubble. So I would like you to use your inference skills to tell me, what is Bigu saying? Remember, we don't really know the answer. You're having your very best guess by reading all of the information that we've had, by reading in between the lines and using the illustration. Off you go. Well done, everyone. Some really super ideas there. And we can tell that Bigu was definitely happy. I love the way her little ears are flashing, and I think her mum and dad are super happy too. Now we're going to have a look at some questions that involve inference. Our first question is, how do the children feel about Bigu? So we can have a look at this page and read it to get ourselves started. Wait! Her friends wanted to say goodbye. Now, it doesn't tell me the answer. I can't retrieve it from this page, so I know I'm going to have to use my inference skills. I know from our prior reading that the children were playing with Bigu and they were all having fun. The children were smiling and they were clearly happy to have her there. And now on this page, the fact that they've shouted, wait, and want to say goodbye to her must mean that they've enjoyed having her there and they don't want her to go. So I know that the children feel positive and happy about Bigu. They're not scared or angry. And I know this because the children are hugging Bigu in the illustration and they shouted wait because they wanted to say goodbye to her. Do you agree? As you can see in the blue box, I used the sentence starters the children feel. And I know this because what I would like you to do now in your books is to use these sentence starters to answer the question in your own words. Pop me on pause whilst you do this. Well done, everybody. It's time for the next question now. So your question is, who do you think the small ones were? This is a sentence where it uses the phrase small ones. Bigu would always remember those small ones. In the blue box, I've given you some sentence starters if you would like to use them. So have a think about all of the things we've already read, what happened in the story, and how you could answer this question using your own knowledge. Put me on pause whilst you do this. How did you get on? Did you work out who the small ones were? Yes, I agree. I think the small ones were the children and maybe even the puppies, if you put that, because they were the things that were positive and happy towards Igu. They made her feel good about herself and welcomed her on Earth. And we know that she would remember those kind of things. She wouldn't want to remember people who are being mean to her. People always remember kindness. So we've had a little look at Inference today. I don't know where to put myself. I'll pop it up here. And if you've enjoyed this book, you may like to listen to one or more of these other books on YouTube. We've got The Way Back Home by Oliver Jeffers, Wonderful Life. We've got Dr. Zagor's Book of Earthlets and Toys in Space. I'm sure you will find some lovely people reading these books to you. Now, when you do that, I would love it if you could compare them to Bigu. What is similar and what is different? You might look at where they're set. You might look at the characters or the plot, what happens in the story. You might look at the language that's used, the illustrations, and even the colours. If you could write these in sentences or bullet points for me, you could even draw a table if you wanted to. I know your teachers would absolutely love to see it. Now let's stop sharing my screen, come back to you. Well done, everybody. I know your teachers are all super proud of you this week, and we would love to see all the work that you've done. Can you make sure you say a huge thank you to your adults at home for helping you this week as well? Because I know they've done a super job too. I'm really looking forward to seeing you next week and doing some more great reading. See you all soon, everybody. Bye.